What's up, guys? This is David Chase Taylor of 911truther.org. Today is January 1st of 2026. So, based on breaking news and events, it appears the CIA headquarters located in CERN at Lake Geneva in Switzerland is going to stage what I'm calling the Iranian apocalypse. In short, the CIA is planning to stage an Iranian nuclear event on the date of Friday, January 2nd of 2026, specifically to trigger World War III. So really quick, before I get into the potential scenarios, which are blinking red, I just want to highlight the numerology. So firstly, if there is an attack, an Iranian nuclear event on the date of January 2nd, this is numerically 1, 2, or 12, which is indicative of the 12 tribes of Israel. So this is going to be executed on the ground by the Israeli Air Force, Israeli Defense Forces, and or the Israeli Navy. And then it's going to be subsequently blamed on Iran, specifically to trigger World War III, which will likely feature a joint U.S.-Israeli attack and invasion of Iran, which is going to benefit Israel because they're going to take this territory from Iran. Secondly, the number 2 symbolically equates to the letter Z, which is an acronym for Zionism, and then we would be in the second day of the year of Zion, which is 2026. Z is an acronym for Zionism, and that is the political motivation behind this impending attack. So it has the earmarks and the numerology of Israel all over this impending attack. Not only that, but this would be the second day of the year, number 2, and then it would be Friday or 4-day, and so this would be 24, equates to the letter X, which is the international symbol of death. And then we have ZX, which is Zix or 6. Which is indicative of the 6-pointed flag of Israel. So this has the numeric signature of Israel all over it. Not only that, but the date of January 2nd marks exactly 4 days since Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met with U.S. President Donald J. Trump at his Mar-a-Lago estate in Palm Beach, Florida, back on December 29th of 2025. During this meeting, they highlighted the need to possibly attack Iran because of their burgeoning nuclear weapons program. And this was specifically designed to highlight Iranian nuclear capability or their nuclear program on an international level just prior to this false flag attack executed by the State of Israel and subsequently blamed on the Islamic Republic of Iran. So exactly what type of nuclear event the CIA is going to blame on Iran, obviously not known, but the most likely scenario is some sort of short-range ballistic missile, a medium-range ballistic missile, or long-range ballistic missile strikes targeting nations, Israel and or other Middle Eastern nations in the region. There's also the possibility, because the CIA has carefully crafted this narrative since 2012, that Iran has developed a space program similar to NASA, and therefore they could, in fact, stage a nuclear intercontinental ballistic missile strike and a nuclear ICBM strike targeting the United States or Europe. Because it is Islamic terror and because the CIA's bread and butter is Islamic terror, there's always the possibility that the CIA will stage a nuclear 9/11 style attack. So this would be a plane with an alleged nuclear warhead flying into a building, a stadium, or a tourist attraction, or a military base or an airport somewhere around the world, and then subsequently blamed on Iran. So therefore, a 9/11 style airplane, drone, or helicopter related crash and subsequent nuclear explosion is also realistically possible. Also, a vehicle-borne improvised explosive device-based nuclear event. So this would be a truck bombing. So they would claim that Iran loaded up a semi-truck with a nuclear weapon and drove it into Israel or another neighboring Islamic nation. A shipborne improvised explosive device. This is a nuclear bomb being placed on a ship and then driven into a port or a harbor and then subsequently detonated. And then, of course, we could have a train-related nuclear weapon strike. So basically, a nuclear warhead is loaded onto a train and subsequently passed into a neighboring nation. Although the CIA will likely claim that this is a targeted Iranian nuclear strike or event, there is the possibility that the CIA will claim that this was an accident, possibly under the guise of a test. So there's a realistic scenario whereby the CIA could say that Iran shot 1 missile, 2 missiles, 10 missiles into the sky, directed towards Israel or the United States, and they subsequently floundered in their flight pattern and then subsequently crashed into a neighboring nation, and then there was an explosion either in the air or on the ground, and then we have a Fukushima, Chernobyl wind scale 3 Mile Island-like event where there's mass radiation poisoning sweeping across the Middle East. So that's also a realistic possibility. So although this event is going to be blamed on Iran, it's going to originate in Iran, there's the high likelihood that the CIA will stage some sort of a nuclear explosion, nuclear accident, targeting one or more of the nations around Israel, including but not limited to, Iran, including but not limited to Israel, Egypt, Jordan, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Bahrain, Turkey, Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, Kuwait, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Cyprus, Greece, Italy, Azerbaijan, Oman, Yemen, and Somalia. And then, of course, because Iran has allegedly developed a space program whose, I can't remember it off the bat, but it's an acronym for, and it spells out NASA, NHSA, I believe it is. Don't quote me on that. So there's also the possibility that the CIA will stage some sort of an Iranian nuclear event targeting the likes of America, Canada, or Europe, a nation in Europe, possibly Germany, France, or England. That being said, I did discover a plot which is a redux of a Pakistani accidental nuclear ICBM strike targeting the coast of Africa under the guise of an errant launch. And apparently they're going to try the same thing, and this time they may blame Pakistan or they may blame Iran, but they plan on sending a nuke into Somaliland or Somalia and then claiming that it was an errant launch by Iran or Pakistan. Which is interesting because back on September 27th of 2012, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu gave a speech before the United Nations in New York City, during which he held up a cartoon depiction of an Iranian nuclear bomb. And this appears to be foreshadowing for an Iranian nuclear strike, an accidental nuclear strike targeting Khartoum. So Khartoum, there's a cartoon like the Cartoon Network, which is illustrated depictions, and then there's the capital of Somalia, which is called Khartoum with an M at the end. And so this appears to be what you call foreshadowing in the media, in the press, for this impending accidental Iranian nuclear strike targeting the city of Khartoum, Somalia. If you've been following the news, you know that Somalia, the news is all Somalia these days. And then, of course, Israel became the first and only nation to recognize the alleged state of Somaliland. And this is a publicity stunt being executed by the CIA to raise the profile of Somalia and Somaliland internationally just prior to this impending event, which may be scapegoated onto Iran or Pakistan. So obviously, some sort of major Iranian nuclear event is being planned for the date of January 2nd. And obviously this is going to be executed on the ground via the Israeli Navy, via the Israeli Air Force, via the IDF, and then subsequently blamed on Iran to trigger World War III. Obviously that cannot be allowed to happen, so if the CIA stages any sort of nuclear related event, and like I said earlier, it could be also an accident, so they could basically stage an apocalyptic nuclear explosion in Iran and then claim that they were in the process of doing a test, or that they had an accident and there was a subsequent nuclear explosion. And there has been over the last since the U.S. attack on Iran, there's been this narrative in the media that Iran has a water shortage. And so what they're likely going to do is claim that there was some sort of a nuclear event in Iran underground that somehow leaked into the water system, and then they plan on killing millions of Iranians by denying them water in the aftermath of this impending nuclear event, which may transpire on the date of January 2nd of 2026. So obviously, if the CIA stages any sort of nuclear-related event in Iran or the greater Middle East on the date of January 2nd of 2026, I kindly ask that you download this video and share it with local, state, and federal law enforcement, military, and intelligence officials, as well as with local, national, and international media outlets.